gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars
Words, speaking, speech
through
volume.
the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command.
Rogers Place sounding better than ever. As they did a year ago, the Oilers bring a 1-1 split back home against Dallas in the Western Conference Final. First home game for Edmonton's matinee idols in 11 days since dispatching Vegas. Game 3 in what's now a best-of-5 for a spot in the Stanley Cup Final. After a loss in the playoffs, Jake Ottinger's been outstanding, 5-0 with a 1.88 goals against average. At the other end, Stuart Skinner has 3 playoff wins. They're all shutouts after a 25-save whitewash in Game 2. Chris Knobloch considered lineup changes to add a little energy after a long travel day, but he stays with the winning lineup. Greg, I think this crowd will handle the energy part.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the loudest, if not the loudest, in the league, and even a matinee can't keep the energy down. This is a really important first period in Game 3.
So again, Dallas won Game 3 last year. Underway here, no rope hints for the Stars. Oscar Beck will take his spot on the finish line. Wyatt Johnston out there to start for Dallas as the puck comes to the Dallas line. It's Draisaitl along with Podkolzin and Kapanen. And here they come. It's dropped back to Draisaitl. Across to Darnell Nurse. And a puck tip just wide off the stick of Kapanen. Watched along the boards. Puck comes loose. And Dadonov will send it deep into the Edmonton zone. Both teams make their first changes.
A good chance at the net there. A good cross-seam pass by Draisaitl created a good tip-in at the net. You know, Ottinger is thinking, got to be sharp here early on. The game's first goal is so important. Pete DeBoer looking to get that for his team.
Well, it won't be back as Jason Robertson is up on the top line. Granlund moves into the middle. There's Granlund with it. Here's Mikhail Granlund, who's been perhaps Dallas's best player in the first 2 games. Redmond for Granlund, a short angle shot. Skinner shot down away. And away goes Connor McDavid over the line with Nugent Hopkins. Back to McDavid trying to center. That was denied with Hyman parked in front. Hyman knocks his man down. That'll be the 100th hit of the playoff for Zach Hyman. By far the leader, and that's an icing call against Dallas.
Well, you know, just the intensity to try to get that game's first goal. The Oilers have been able to get it in both games 1 and 2. Here's Nurse with his head up, just throwing it to the net. Good deflection there. Kapanen maybe a little bit past his point at the other end. This is a line, as you said. Jason Robertson getting play with Granlund and Rantanen. And a guy who really needs to get into this series is Robertson. He's been struggling to get up to his speed. Maybe this is the opportunity to do so.
As Kelly mentioned, Jason Robertson with a hat trick in Game 3. Last year, the Oilers scored the first 2 goals in that game before Robertson and the Stars came back. There's a broken stick for Adam Henrique, trying to control it with his skates to hold the zone, and did a pretty good job. He'll head to the bench to get a new cue as it's worked across on the far side, and now into the middle. Liam Bichel works his way into the Edmonton zone and puts a shot on Skinner. Rebound is picked up by Sam Steele. There's back from distance, and that's kicked away. It'll be kicked in at the line by Petrovic. A couple of Edmonton area guys out there for Dallas in Steele and Petrovic as it comes back out to center. There's Bichel sending it across as Dallas making a change, turned over at center. It'll be played in there by Klingberg. Petrovic off the glass, back to the Edmonton line, tied up there with Sagan. Matt Duchene checks in. Corey Perry fires it deep for Edmonton. Essa Lindell up the boards, knocked down by Perry. Now past Marchman. Corey Perry a shot. That goes wide of the net. Trent Fredericks on the other side. Frederick knocked off balance. Heiskanen playing it ahead. Now Marchman trying to drop it off. Duchene trying to get away. And Trent Frederick up with a puck, and he'll flip it back into Dallas territory. Lindell up at center. That gets past Sagan. That's icing again against Dallas.
Well, you lose Game 2 on home ice. You need a rebound going into Game 3 on the road. And this is why Pete DeBoer feels pretty confident with his team. Look at these numbers. Career record. Best career record after a loss. 18-6 is Ottinger. Ken Dryden with 6 Stanley Cups. Matt Murray with a pair of Stanley Cups. Billy Smith, of course, with 4. And Ottinger looking to try to get past the Edmonton Oilers to get an opportunity to join that list.
Draisaitl won the draw. He's got 4 points in this series, a goal and 3 assists. And Draisaitl up top with a pass across. Jake Wallman able to dump that into the corner, but Colson can't come up with it. Around for Sagan, trying to chip it past Klingberg, who holds the zone. It'll come back to Klingberg. Fired it across. That's knocked down, and Wyatt Johnston up ahead for Jamie Benn. Johnston had a little pop in the third period for Dallas after he replaced Rupe Hintz. Ended up with 7 shot attempts in the game, but here's Draisaitl back for Edmonton. He's got puck, holds it. Shot goes off the skate in front. Picked up by Harley. Again, Harley starts the game paired with Cody Ceci, not with Miro Heiskanen. There's Mikko Rantanen, took a bump from Kapanen as he played it in behind the Edmonton net. Dumped out to center. Ceci clubs that down and fires it right back in. Evan Bouchard sends it around. Edmonton exits the zone. Nice pass there by Bouchard to Nugent Hopkins. A stop there made by Ottinger. Wasn't sure where the rebound was. Connor McDavid back to Bouchard. That fired right on. Off the blocker and right back to Bouchard, who didn't have a shot on goal in Game 2. Nugent Hopkins a goal and an assist in both the first 2 games. Bouchard rolled that across. It does reach Kulak, who scored in Game 2. Ceci unable to come up with it. Up there. Good play by Hyman to take it away from Granlund. Bouchard back along the board. Kicked away with a sharp stop by Ottinger. Pressure here by Edmonton. As Bouchard holds the line. He'll send it in deep. In behind the net. McDavid put it in front. Bouncing puck. And cleared to the boards. Darnell Nurse gets it back. He'll send it across. Great pass. Hyman with the sharp ankle shot. And Ottinger hacked the post. And Dallas clears.
Good pressure here. Keeps him hemmed in the zone. A minute 48 for that 4. And back-to-back good, solid offensive zone shifts. A couple of big saves by Ottinger to keep it scoreless.
Beck kept it in at the line. Steele, Beck, and Blackwell. The 4th line for Pete DeBoer. Here's Sam Steele. Beck, who did not play Game 2, gets a big hit there in the corner. Knocked down, but it's Blackwell to Steele, and he hits short side. Didn't get all of that. Petrovic steps up. He played it in front. Knocked away, and Henrique up the boards towards Keane. A pushback by the fourth line of the Stars. Now Marchment off the bench. Mason Marchment in, but the puck comes loose for Keane. Up ahead, and a pass for Connor Brown does get there on the second try. As Edmonton regroups just inside their line. An oil change underway as Bishop plays it across, and Petrovic trying to spring Duchesne. That's too far. Once again, Dallas icing.
Well, that push to get the first goal on home ice, and it's Nugent Hopkins who starts things off. A good cross-seam pass and a hard shot that you could see Ottinger got it not with his blocker but his arm. Wasn't quite sure where the rebound was. Now, Evan Bouchard with the big bomb. Good blocker save that gets out of trouble there, and then the continuation. Hyman looking for an option in the slot. Nobody really there. Good box out by the Stars to not allow a pass back to Connor McDavid.
66% battery power. Not button. Control center. Microphone menu. 60%. Period. Page 1 of 4. Page. Lift. Go backward. Play. Button. Go forward. Play. Button. Pop.
Try settle. Forced out. Double team there. Marchment up with the puck, but Sagan ahead of the play, so Marchment had to delay, and it's still an offside. At the Edmonton line, a little reintroduction between Marchment and Kapanen.
Activate. Go pause. Button. Go forward.
Caffeinated start here in Edmonton.
Started. Dramatics in Game 7. Had a hat trick in the first game against Winnipeg in a good series. But Chris, over 6 periods and now almost 6 minutes of another. He's been a little frustrated. He hasn't had a lot of open ice. He hasn't had control of the puck nearly as much as the Dallas Stars would like him to.
And just one assist so far in the series. And held the one shot in game number 2. Co-leader, along with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl in the Stanley Cup playoff points parade. Here comes Kapanen flying in. Finds Draisaitl on the right flank. Draisaitl in deep. Draisaitl in front. Back into that rise. Klingberg fires it across. Sagan trying to chip that out and get it past Loman. That's a Lindell. He's going to hit 2, but Dallas is up, led by Duchesne. Here's Matt Duchesne.
Pause. Stop recording.
Pause. Pass in front to
Current time 0 hours 1 minute.
Fired away.
Mark
by
Buck.
Bud Colson. Lindell looks ahead. That's off Kapanen's stick, and it'll bounce towards Skinner. Played around, and out comes Matthias Janmark, the former Dallas Star. Drops it into the near side corner. Frederick retrieves that puck. Frederick bumped along the boards by Bishop. They both go down. Puck free for Petrovic. And Jamie Benn.
Real tech, decrease map, all off, radio, decrease, intro, microphone in mute, microphone in, 4 off. Microphone, stereo, device, stereo, reset pitch shifted, stereo mix balance, slider, 50%, 60, main, 1 of, reset, stereo.
And Ben will regroup back in his own zone. 8 minutes into the first period of Game 3.
Oilers are going to win Game 3.
Shots fly for Edmonton. Pass picked off in center. Here's Thomas Harley. Nico Rantanen again. Gramlin ahead of the play. Offside.
Bet365 has a new and exclusive game, Prize Matcher. Download the app and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Watch as Britain's best amateur bakers take on new baking challenges and show off their culinary skills. Watch the Great British Baking Show for free on CBC Gem, Canada's home for streaming. Dallas Stars have been slow starters without the first period goal on the road. Only 7 first period goals so far in these playoffs. Trying to change that narrative here on the road.
Well, road is really an amazing problem. You know, their offense is just really dried up. It's shut out in 2 straight, 4-0, both the Winnipeg games. 3 of the last 5, and kind of inexplicable. This is a team that can score in bunches at times, but their sticks have gone silent as well, and the road has been part of the problem.
Nathan Hopkins setting it toward the net. Hyman was causing a commotion in front, blocked it away by Ottinger, fired in by Harley. Dallas changing as Robinson tries to come up with a puck, looking for his first goal of this postseason. Connor McDavid on the move. His pass broken up by Lindell, a quick turn by Steele. Dumps it back in past Klingberg.
Stereo mix, device advanced settings, 1, stereo mix, microphone array, microphone in, 4 of 4, selected, device advanced, information, device advanced, mute the internal output device, device advanced settings, microphone in, 4 of 4, microphone, 84, 59, 56, 43.
For sure, the Stars were finally going to get on the board. Just a turnover along the wall creates the chance at the net, and Stuart Skinner just
50.
in desperation here. Nugent Hopkins can't win the battle. Heiskanen across, and look at that little extra push halfway across. Got him there as fast as he could. Heiskanen, puck hits the skate, and then that second for Blackwell to go backhand, forehand. Stuart Skinner gets the first, and then able to pounce on that rebound. Good box out in front. We saw the glorious save in Game 2 on the road with his stick. A similar one, moving from his left to right, lightning fast, to stop Blackwell and get the rebound.
So a face-off to Skinner's right, controlled by Adam Henry. Stars have been the better face-off team so far in this series, but Stuart Skinner, that extra push, as you said, that athleticism.
You know, he kind of got halfway as it looked like when Heiskanen made the first play.
60.
It was going to get a shot right in the middle.
70. Microphone increased value.
Shot attempt area, and he's able to just adjust midstream and push across and stay flat to that one to make the save.
Another defensive zone draw controlled by the Oilers. Steele trying to flip it in. Beck gets it inside the line and quickly played back out. Heiskanen will fire it back. They'll tag up and Beck in on the forecheck. As fresh troops arrive, Sagan and Duchesne check in. And Marchment to follow. Here's Tyler Sagan. Couple goals in Game 1. Lost control of the puck and it's fired back out by the Oilers. Connor Brown in pursuit of the puck, but Harley able to play it up to center. Here's Duchesne out of the reach of Sagan. Sagan can't get it in there as it's broken up by Klingberg at the line. This very capita that rolls through, and Ottinger's going to have to eat that for a face-off in the Dallas zone. Moments ago at the other end.
Sound
Stop
pause.
early from Stuart Skinner.
Go through. Go back at 15 seconds. Okay? Pause. Go forward 15 seconds.
Recording
And
resumed.
Keith, because he was the leading scorer, he was okay, but Pete thought that might have been the end of his junior career. As they missed a meeting. And Keith, because he was the leading scorer, he was okay, but Pete thought that might have been the end of his junior career. As they missed a meeting.
One of so many different interlocking stories of players, coaches, playing juniors, minors. The stories are long and old. How about Paul Maurice? Again, his team continuing to roll there. And Chris Knobloch hoping that he can get his team back for a rematch, and still some work to do to get to that point.
I wonder if that adds in any way to the urgency of these two teams, knowing what Florida's doing at the other end. Here's Dadonov in, works it across, Harley in front, off the side of the net as that glanced off a stick on Luke. And back comes Draisaitl with speed. Looked like he might have tried to flip the defense. And Cody Ceci, his old teammate, able to recover in the nick of time.
Yeah, Ceci's seen that before, hasn't he? And that's when you got the speed and the big
Current time 0 hours 7 minutes.
And all he's trying to do is slide the puck to an area, slap your stick away, and try to time it to get through. Ceci able to keep him away from it enough.
Speaking of speed, here is McDavid back in. That pass broken up, and Essa Lindell leads Dallas out. Up ahead for Rantanen. Nico Rantanen throws it down in front, and that redirected wide of the net. Off the stick of Robertson.
Real tech, speakers volume, microphone array, 1 of 4, microphone array, 3, stereo mix, microphone, device, microphone,
Zach Hyman down this
increase,
microphone. That was broken up by Heiskanen, covered by Ottinger.
Right,
Stanley Cup playoffs.
It beats you in so many different
Oilers
ways.
are going to win the
You have
playoffs.
to think, okay, such a talented passer. Here's the puck goes through. He's just trying to time it and knock the stick away. Cody Ceci does a good job of using his body and then getting the stick in. Rantanen trying to buy himself a little time, and there's Robertson getting a piece of it, but not quite enough. You know, Robertson, sometimes when you're struggling as a player, in the last 2 games he went down on the 4th line as Pete DeBoer kind of took a little bit of pressure off. Sometimes that can help you. Well, now you got a big miss in Rupe Hintz out. Maybe a little bit more responsibility is what he needs. You got to find some way to get a spark. And for Pete DeBoer, he's trying to pull the right strings to get number 21 going.
Came off-season surgery and really had a slow start of the year, but once he got going again, 29 goals in the final 54, only to get hurt in the final regular season game, and again, he's kind of going through the same thing.
Yeah, missed the first 7 and just has not really been able to get up to speed.
Sam Steele behind the net. It's Blackwell to the line. Harley sends it back in. Out of the reach of Steele. Corey Perry there for Edmonton. Bumping it to Troy Stetcher. Up ahead, a solid pass to Nurse. Darnell Nurse be a focus of attention today after that slash on Rupe Hintz in the 3rd period of game number 2. Blackwell hit along the boards. Beck trying to work it forward. Shot dead by Steele back inside the Edmonton line. 7:20 remaining here in the 1st period. Bishop. Let's get rid of it to center. Klingberg, the former star. His pass intended for Henrique was disrupted. Ottinger pulls it down off the glass, and it's Petrovich. Mason Marchment striding through center. Gets it to Sagan, looking to get it back, perhaps. No, cross. And a good stick by Evander Kane. Breaking up that pass intended for Matt Duchene. Up along the boards, Duchene crashing in. Henrique worked it loose. Wallman now takes over. Shots 9-5 for the home side. As Rio wait the first
decrease
goal.
value, increase value.
Game number 3.
Does it feel a little bit like a sleepy afternoon game? Not quite the intensity and jump I was expecting in such an important game.
Increase microphone boost, edit, read only, 0, space, D.
Not the crowd,
But yeah, not the crowd. They try to keep it going.
Plus 0.
But I think there's sometimes your body's not quite ready to
Cap D,
react
new,
the way it typically does on your normal routine.
cap D, 0, plus sign, 0, space. Microphone boost, edit, read only, plus 0 dB. Sound read, mark, off. Current time 0 hours, 11 minutes, 43 seconds. Mark, off.
Download the Bet365 app.
Well, Kelly Sutherland, Eric Furlat, and Matt McPherson, Johnny Murray all discussing did it go straight out or not. And watching it live, wasn't sure. He always looked for the reaction of the opponent. And there was Kulak. Boy, from that
Real
little
tech,
angle there, it
microphone
looked
and you
like
tick,
it did go
all
out,
off.
but
You need,
I think
I'll need
after the
original.
discussion and not being
You need
able to
original.
use
You need cap UNI hyphen cap DIRECTIONAL. You need cap UNI hyphen cap DIREC. You need cap UNI hyphen cap. You need direction. Cap UNI hyphen cap DI. Cap UNI hyphen cap DIRECT. All off. You need directional. Radio button. Speed increased to 70%. Selected.
It's rolling. Yeah, that's straight out.
All off. Decrease. Increase value. But all off. Selected.
You can understand watching it live. That's super slow-mo.
Microphone in. Speakers. 1 up. Microphone in. 4. Microphone device. Mic. Check. All. You need original. Selected. AI noise reduction. Checked. Unchecked. Checked. Unchecked. Omnidirectional. Radio. Enhanced voice recognition. High quality AAC removes the acoustic. AAC removes the acoustic echo coupled into the microphones from the loudspeaker output through air. Toggle switch on. AAC removes the acoustic echo.
Yes.
High quality record. Radio button. Selected.
Oilers scored a goal. And Edmonton strikes first in Game 3.
Well, how about a trademark taking advantage of a break? You get a break where you don't get called on a penalty where you should be killing one, and you go right back to the other end. A simple-looking play that Ryan Nugent-Hopkins does a great job buying himself a little time. This one comes flying through and off the post and in. Good traffic in front with McDavid jumping over. Hyman on the other side. Ottinger can't get a piece of it. From a defensive zone face-off, Chris, to 10 seconds later, a 1-0 lead.
6 of the playoffs for Bouchard, which matches a personal best. Skinner called upon to make a good stop there right after the Edmonton goal. And Bouchard now has points in 7 consecutive games. That beats Dallas. Lifted up the line by Harley.
Robertson's stick was caught in the skate of Kulak there.
And here comes McDavid in, walking in. Back, McDavid scores!
2 goals in 30 seconds for the Oilers.
2 in 36 seconds. And Edmonton leads by 2.
Enhanced high reset pitch shift. You all off. Microphone. Microphone.
The Oilers are going to make it 3.
Meanwhile, the top players are going back the other way. Great job of McDavid winning the battle. And 1 pass, 2 pass, up and over the shoulder. You know McDavid did the pass initially. Great job by Nugent-Hopkins sliding it right in the wheelhouse. And a perfect shot up and over the shoulder brings this crowd to its feet again. No sleepy Sunday night.
Not sleepy anymore. Bouchard at 14:02. McDavid with his 4th at 14:38. And the Oilers, as they did in Game 3 a year ago, have a 2-goal lead. Big hit on Beck from Trent Frederick. Here's Heiskanen. Up ahead, Steele unable to clear the zone. He'll get it up the second try. Blackwell away. 3-on-2 Dallas. Here's Blackwell. Heiskanen shot. Blocked. And knocked away from the front of the net. A good shot out there by Troy Stecher. Official up ahead and Marchment for Duchesne. Duchesne catches up to that. Tyler Seguin a shot that is off target. Marchment spins it back. Here's Duchesne. Up there along the boards. Got it to Seguin to Marchment. And Skinner stops that and covers up. 2 in 36 seconds. First Devin Bouchard. And then protected.
Sound. Pause. Recording resumed. Pause. Button. Alt. P.
5 seconds later, it's in the back of the net for the all-important first goal. Some chaos in the zone.
A goal.
Defensively, Dallas gets caught. Now you got a 3-on-1 the other way. 36 seconds of the game, and now suddenly a 2-0 lead. Now that's the hallmark of championship-type teams, is being able to take advantage of those critical moments and make them go your way. The challenge now for Pete DeBoer and the Dallas Stars: take a breath, find some life, stop the bleeding, and try to find a way to dig yourself back into this game.
Both goals assisted by Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, 3rd straight game of the series that he has a multi-point performance. That's 21
Post
in the
tab.
playoffs.
Search button.
Which
Latest tab.
the 10th on the all-time
Playlist.
Oiler list. Check notes.
Video.
Just ahead of Craig Simpson.
View full play.
He's had a great start
Heading
to
level
this
3.
series,
North.
and you look in so much of the focus defensively. How do you stop McDavid? How do you stop Draisaitl? How do you stop Hyman getting to the net? Well, Nugent-Hopkins had a great start.
More actions.
Offensive zone draw. Sagan takes a whack
7.
at that.
7. North Metro. Back button.
Across the front of the net. Captain tried to clear. Kept in by Mitchell. He'll play it right on goal. Kicked into the corner by Skinner. Around to the other side. Petrovic moves up. He tries to play that in front of Henry. Petrovic again to hold his own. Adam Henry got it. Without a stick. In behind the net is Klingberg. Unable to come up with that. Kapanen trying to get it out of there. And it's Petrovic and out to center. Big hit by Draisaitl. As he bumped the big 6'7" defenseman.
YouTube video play.
Put back in by Wyatt Johnston.
Under the direction of
Driven away
Jude.
by
Play
Stitcher.
keyboard short. Pause key.
Up comes Evander Kane.
Ready?
He'll roll it in front of the Dallas net. Harley, he gave it up, but Dallas able to recover. Johnston sends it up to center. Stitcher will fire it right back in. Running around to Donov, trying to come up with that. It's played deep by the Oilers, and we're down to the final 3 minutes here in the first period. Donov deflects that.
Pause keyboard shortcut K. Button. Play. New tab. One start pane. New.
Off the glass and out.
Search the web or type.
In for Ben.
YouTube 7. Play keyboard. Seeks. YouTube.
Wraps that back in. Here comes Granlund after it against Kulak. Kulak an assist on the first goal. Mikko Rantanen leaned on. Rantanen trying to get it in front. Now Granlund back to the line. Lindell across. Here comes the Hastings shot. Off target. Lindell back into the corner. Rantanen and Kulak continue their battle. Comes on the front. Granlund. Stopped by Skinner. It looked like there was a little room on the short side top corner, but Skinner able to make the stop.
Yeah, credit Skinner. He read that
And
well.
Oilers
Read
want
the
to make it a
shooter's
goal.
eyes there and was starting to move to his left and stayed on the post. I think got a little piece of it. Helped it anyway.
Here's Heiskanen missing on the stick side.
Come on, score a goal.
Tied up by Nugent Hopkins. Blackwell digging in after it. He's had the best chance for Dallas in this first period. Kulak plays it away. Bouchard high off the glass and out. Mitchell with Hyman. And those two got locked up and Petrovic takes over. 90 seconds remaining in the opening period. Big Liam Bishel plays it in. There's Wallman sending it around. Trent Frederick's got it. Up the hit for Corey Perry. Now Draisaitl with Perry. Perry swinging across the front of the net. And it comes to the line and out. And Klingberg retreats with Marchman and slip through. Marchman takes it away. Mason Marchman into the far corner in the final minute. Cycled there by Duchesne. Sagan after it against Klingberg. Worked it loose for Duchesne. Right back in behind the net. Out of the reach of a star. And
Sound recorder.
it'll be dumped ahead.
Current
by
time 0 hours 21.
bouncing that wide. And
Mark.
that's icing with 40.4 left in the period.
Oh, a tough icing there. Here's Granlund, who has shown his ability to pick the corners. Remember in game one, just a beauty from the other side there. Good read though by Stuart Skinner. It's about just staying on the side, anchored as best you can, gets the elbow as high as he possibly can, and really didn't give him a whole lot.
Nine stops in the opening three for the Oiler netminder. I mean, he's Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde. Now, which I never figured that out.
You know, you either win with a shutout or it's 4 or more.
Speak messenger to the set.
Good start here to game 3 though on home ice.
Dallas at Edmonton. Dallas at Edmonton. Dallas at Edmonton. Dallas at Edmonton. Dallas at Edmonton.
Now connected to iPhone.
The hit by Wallman, bouncing that wide, and that's icing with 40.4 left in the period.
Boy, tough icing there. Here's Granlund, who has shown his ability to pick the corners. Remember in game one, just a beauty from the other side there.
YouTube.
Good read, though, by
Seek slide.
Stuart
Banner.
Skinner.
YouTube
It's
video.
about just
Banner.
staying
Clear
on the
search combo.
side, anchored as best you can, gets the elbow as
Oilers.
high as
Oregon.
he possibly
Space.
can, and really didn't give him a whole lot.
You unwatched live on 4 action 7 music and all tab pause mute keyboard banner
Let me use Dr. Jekyll or Mr.
Hyde. Heading level 3 Oilers or
with a shutout or it's 4 or more. And
action
good
heading
start here to game 3 though on home ice for Stuart Skinner.
He's going to up. Rantanen was Kulak was
all tab item 7 Oilers Oregon back
popping back onto the
search
Edmonton bench to
YouTube
avoid
play
too many
see
men
YouTube
penalty. And Rantanen got knocked right into it. Here's Rantanen out with the puck behind the net, trying to slip it in front. That doesn't reach Robertson. Granlund kicks it back. Across for Haskin and the shot line. Thomas Harley. The two
20 volume, graphic.
Out there. A chance there at Skinner. The pass stop. What a chance in tight. And a penalty coming up.
Boy, just some sloppy puck work at the end of a period. You know, you can't help emotionally sometimes think, oh, it's over, let's just clear this out. Protecting the middle of the ice, and you know a late goal can be such a momentum swing. Can't win the puck battle here. It's a bouncing puck that doesn't get cleared. Skinner with the great save. There's Kapanen. I think this is one that Kapanen, it's not his stick that hits, and I wonder if you can have a look at that one. No question that a stick hit Rantanen in the face, but it was his own. Kapanen lifted his stick, so his wasn't the one that made contact. And now you've got Kelly Sutherland having a conversation as well. Once again, replay worry easily for us to see it.
Pause. Current time 0 hours 24 minutes.
Yep. Early Rantanen. Own stick. You do wonder if the officials know they missed one earlier, and whether or not.
You know, this is one that you wish it was a high stick with blood, because they'd be able to look at a double minor and they'd be able to get on and watch the video. Instead, just an innocent 2-minute. Kapanen ends up, although he hit the stick, his stick didn't hit the man.
2.6 to go when the puck dropped, and here is the shot at the horn that doesn't get through, and the fur starts to fly in front of the Edmonton net at the sound of the horn.
You know, if I'm Dallas, you got to find a way to get some emotion into your game. That's now 6 out of the 7 periods have really been dominated in this round so far by the Edmonton Oilers. It's the one period, the third period of game 1, that has given the Dallas Stars the one win. But pretty neat and tidy first period on home ice again for the Edmonton Oilers to take that 2-0 lead into the dressing room.
Well, the Oilers get
Mark recording.
36 seconds. Bouchard with a 92.6 mile an hour blast, and then Connor McDavid has his fourth. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins assisting on both. His third consecutive 2-point.
Recording resumed. Mark Pause. Current time 0 hours 26 minutes.
Today's early bird prizes include a 2025 Ford Bronco. Get your tickets now anywhere in Alberta at EdmontonOilers.com/50/50. And why not me? I'm in Alberta. I'm joined by Cody. How are the sales today, Cody?
Oh, fantastic, non-stop.
Yeah, now, there we go, Craig. All right, this might be over by the time the period gets started.
Hope there's a winning ticket for the team there.
It might be the last time we see Eugene, that's for sure.
Okay, we start the second period, and Dallas has the power play. Looking to cut into this 2-0 Edmonton lead. Miro Haskin at the line. Mikko Rantanen off the post. With room, and Rantanen rings that up.
Keyboard switch to English. Mark pause. YouTube 7. 0 minutes 4 seconds.
Duchesne recovers.
Going back.
Back up top, and across it goes to Rantanen again. 2 assists in his last 5. Heiskanen. Robertson. Able to get that through. Here's Rantanen one more time. Heiskanen. Rantanen, and that
going back.
By Roman.
Going back.
After behind the net, it's knocked down there by Duchesne.
Going back.
Heiskanen moves up. Here's Heiskanen trying to twist away from the end marker off his footing. Got it to Rantanen. Mikko Rantanen. Stop. Stewart.
Magnify it. YouTube.
In behind the Edmonton goaltender.
And maybe the best looks of this series for Rantanen. It starts with a first pass by Heiskanen, not even looking at him. Got quarter of the net there, and Stuart Skinner sliding across, gets help from his post. Look at the bodies in the middle. Great block there by Wallman, unable to clear it though after. And this is just an excellent read. Watch Wallman. He takes away any opportunity for Rantanen to go backdoor to Robertson. He was looking for pass, couldn't make it through the body.
Into the second minute of the power play now. Ben Marchment, Sagan out there. Heiskanen remains. Heiskanen shoots, and that ends up wide of the net, and it got past Granlund, and Nugent Hopkins able to clear. Dump back for Granlund. In for Sagan. Tyler Sagan to the middle. Chance here, Ben. And Skinner gets a piece of that. Granlund up with the rebound. Marchment works the boards. And comes free for Wallman. And the Oilers Bouchard off a sprawling Ben and out to center ice. Right back in comes Dallas. Dying seconds of the power play. Hyman's going to send them back.
A good job the last 40 seconds there by McDavid and Hyman. You've seen a lot more of that, the opportunity to get him out there in a penalty killing role.
Let's go!
3 shots on that power play, but unable to break through. By the way, it's now 7 first period goals in 16
Let's go, Oilers!
In this playoff. Wyatt Johnson to the inboards along with Draisaitl. They get locked up. Podkolzin arrives trying to work it loose. Here's Podkolzin to the line, but Nurse was backtracking. Sperry Kapanen out of the box, and he springs Draisaitl out in front of up there or not. Here's Podkolzin went to the net. And it's center. Rantanen will slalom through. Gets it across. Wyatt Johnson over the line, and in behind the net, it's Jason Robertson. There's Heiskanen shooting. That goes wide with Rantanen providing a screen in front. It'll come to Rantanen again. Heiskanen flipping that into the slot. Tied up there is Essa Lindell. Works down low. Centers in front. Skinner.
Sound recorder win. May. Speakers volume. Stereo mix. Microphone. Increase value. Button. Microphone boost. Edit. Read only. Increase.
Power play goal for Dallas, but maybe a little momentum coming out of that man advantage. Oh, Blackwell's got it. He puts it on goal, and Skinner's going to hold on.
Well, that's a great sign. If you're watching Stuart Skinner, just the calmness and the poise, and you knew on the penalty kill, okay, you got the low post that helps you. You got to look through bodies in front, as you can see the rest of the match now. But the calmness of not making too much movement to open up anything on the 5-hole. Felt the puck, got his hands right back down, quickly able to get the 5-hole closed, and then get support. The one thing the Oilers defense have been just excellent at in these last 3 games is protecting the front of the net, clearing away those rebounds. Another good example of it there.
Early second period push for Dallas, trying to climb back into this 3rd game of the series.
And when you got a goaltender that shuts you out the last game, and you've been on the road and been shut out in the last 2, that can play in your mind a little bit. I think Dallas really hasn't had that ability to get their momentum going much, except for that 3rd period of game 1.
There's a win by Duchesne, but the puck blocked. Away goes McDavid. Bishop off the stick. Across it goes. And Nugent Hopkins missed short side. Gets run into the air boards, and he's able to get up, which is a good sign. Looked like he really took a wallop. Back the other way. Dallas in front. And Skinner once again. And he'll cover outside the blue.
Boy, I don't know how Ryan Nugent Hopkins found a way to get up on that one. It's just a broken stick. He looks to be good on the bench. Once the stick's broken here, Bishel's in a tough spot. Gets turnstile into the middle. As soon as he gets support, there's the pass across, and then Bishel just absolutely ran Nugent Hopkins after this shot. Short side, gets it up and off the knob, and then Bishel with the push at the last second forces Nugent Hopkins. Good for him for getting up and getting back to the bench. Good long conversation here. That's a big man, and that's a big collision at high speeds.
on the draw.
Increased value. Sound recorder. YouTube.
That shot through him in traffic, and right now, Stuart Skinner.
Image Magnify has finished loading.
Just when you think you've got it all figured out, small achievement for players on episodes. Available for free on CBC Gem.
So a great time there for Nugent Hopkins. As long as saying an amazing start to this Western Conference Final. Goal and assist in both games 1 and 2. A goal here of assists. And sometimes the hit looks maybe worse than the end result. Amazingly.
Saw one bad one last night. West Arena taking Jackson Blake into the inboards.
Kind of a guy who could do everything, eh? Ryan Nugent Hopkins, first overall 2011. Hard to believe 14 years ago, and here he is again, having maybe his best hockey of the year in this conference final.
Skinner stops that. The rebound pop loose. Puck in behind the net. Kulak sends it around. And that knocked down. And here's the break. Zach Hyman lost the handle, takes a look and finds McDavid.
Sound recorder window. Stop. Mark recording. Stop. Real decrease. Increase. Microphone. Speaker. Microphone array. Stereo. Microphone array. Check. Uncheck.
Sent around by Bouchard and
Volume.
David tried to knock it off his stick.
We are ready for contestant number 6.
Shot to Vander Kane, and that's off Hurley's stick and out.
You know, at times Zach Hyman can really surprise you with his speed, and he's going from a standstill right now, trying to get a little separation. Cody Ceci just focused on his timing there. Gets the stick down, knocks it away. You see Hyman with the quick look, and now we've seen this numerous times. McDavid down one side, open up the lane with his center drive, and it's Vander Kane with the shot that gets deflected up and open. Couldn't get the shot on goal.
Face off won by Wyatt Johnson.
Radio. Equalize.
Good incinerations turned over. Back
Equalize.
Frederick.
Quiet.
Yes. Trying to fire it from a sharp angle.
2000.
That ends up out of play.
Rogers Xfinity. Get Canada's most reliable internet.
King Charles is in Canada to deliver the official speech from the throne Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Watch free on CBC Gem or everywhere you get CBC News.
Sound YouTube.
Representing Lake Ontario.
That's Chris Knobloch about
Real Tech Audio.
Draisaitl and moving him off that line, sliding him down with Perry and Frederick, and you know, especially
Real Tech Audio. Equalizer.
He's going a little bit. You get him an extra shift,
Speakers.
and here's the opportunity.
Check.
Himself here again.
Sound YouTube.
The draw on the zone.
Real Tech Audio. All microphone.
Draisaitl up.
YouTube 7 North Metro Finals Las Vegas 2015 YouTube video player. Use keyboard shortcut and button M.
Cup 2025. We Irish
Send away Dadonov. With Ben. Looking to get it back to the back of Dadonov. But Troy Stetcher got position and made the defensive play. The veteran Lindell. Flipped in by Blackwell.
The cumulative
to play that.
Endeavor Harmony Forest.
And Steele firing it to the side of the net. Advancing Petrovic. Petrovic up on Bud Colton. Knocks him down. Blackwell covering with the line back. His shot sailed wide. Steele takes his man to the boards. Back on it. Sam Steele cycles the puck. Blackwell comes out in front. Can't get the shot to the net.
we would like just all of us.
YouTube. Magnified image and smart explore dialog. YouTube video. Magnified image and smart explore dialog. YouTube video player group. Use keyboard shortcut M. Button M. Next keyboard short. Click previous. Seeks. Complement. YouTube.
That was McDavid who was working behind the defense at the Dallas line. 97 with 97 Stanley Cup playoff assists. Same number as the great John Beliveau. Duchesne to the line. It is. Stays in. A chance here. Hastings can't get a shot away. And turning it up ice again. Nugent Hopkins. Over the line he goes. Hyman on that right flank takes a couple of bumps. Lays it to the near side, and Heiskanen after it. Miro Heiskanen stretch pass cut off by Bouchard. Right back in, holds, fires, and that one ends up out of play on another scoring chance for Evan Bouchard.
Heiskanen's the one that turned the puck over, and you know the most motivated guy when you turn the puck over and create a chance. How can you get back and maybe make good on it? Well, he does. Right at the last second, gets the stick and knocks it out. Good timing. Bouchard again a threat from the slot.
Recording resumed.
Especially just last year of how to
Current time 0 hours 38.
and how when maybe your offensive game is a little bit off, can you defend your way through a game and win a tight close one? This to me is a mature team that knows how to win the wide open games that get crazy. As you can win 6-5, but they also
image
the defensive
start
effort,
window,
and like they have again here in the first half of this game, not give you much. I think Dallas is really frustrated with their lack of open chances and creating a bunch of turnovers.
Their only offense
Live 12 trial. Pain.
Power play barrage in the third
Run and
period
demo.
of game one.
Report a crash. Close help.
5-on-5, there hasn't
Untitled
been much
Ableton
there.
Live 12 trial.
That's the sign of championship teams, though. You've got to be able to adjust. You've got to be able to learn. You get a frustrating game where nothing's going like Dallas, I would say, has had the last two. You dial it in, and somebody along the way gets a big goal and gives you what you need. You have faith in your teammates that you don't have to open it up or have to get impatient to win hockey games. I think that's really where the growth of this Oilers team
Radio
has
button
grown
selected.
leaps and bounds.
Auto in
They
radio.
were good last year. They're much better even this year.
Options. Settings. Menu. Settings. Record. Work and launch settings group. Bit depth. Set record. Start recording us. Settings page. Chooser. Plugins. Library. Link. Audio input device. Microphone in real text. Microphone array. Stereo mix. Microphone array. Stereo mix. Audio settings group. Audio. Stereo mix. Real tech. R. Audio. EX. Arrange. Arrange. Track air beat for input monitor auto radio in input type ext input channel 1/2 monitoring group auto radio button non-selected.
I was gonna say covered
in radio
Dallas put it in, and that's why you're getting that response after the whistle.
Yeah, that's one that got kicked as Johnston kind of got closed off going to the net. But Stuart Skinner for a second, I think, thought
audio
that he
settings
had
group,
the
audio
rebound
driver,
under
audio input,
control,
stereo,
instead it
microphone
got
array,
loose.
voice.ai audio cable, DX, menu item, microphone in real text, no input, stereo, microphone array, voice.ai audio cable, DX, menu item, microphone in real text, microphone array, Intel registered smart sound technology for digital microphones, DX, audio settings group, audio input device, microphone array, Intel registered smart array,
is everything in that one. The whistle
track air beat for input auto radio input channel 1/2 combo box read only collapse sound real tech Audacity window together we rise window track view table sound dial settings window narrate sound select a recording device below to modify its settings recording tab select microphone array 1 of 4 selected microphone stereo microphone in 2 of microphone array microphone recording tab item 2 select microphone general tab item list apply.
Yeah, they're going to wave dry subtle as
together we rise window
Johnny
application
Burns
menu bar slot array slot track V delay for audio slots grid app play session device browser group browser audio insert loop overdrive multiband looper 15 of 9 exit device loop hot overdub record over
unable to hold the zone or race to this puck race to this puck down the ice race to this puck race to this puck rebound in front race to this puck
overdub stop record button
Robin had him all
play
tied up.
but
Robin had him all tied up. Robin had him all tied up. Robin had him all tied up. He will
stop
turn that
record
aside.
button
Vessel Lindell from a grade A chance.
record
But after that, in behind the net, picked up by Duchesne. Matthew Shane. Away goes McDavid. He's got Captain running with him. Across, and Kapanen missed the pass. What a chance, 2-on-1 there. Now it's Nugent Hopkins coming on.
Donkey Kong.
That off the stick, picked up there by Duchesne, tied up by Hyman. Heiskanen off the boards, and Sagan will play it inside the line. 97 on it. This time sends it deep. Nugent Hopkins on the near side, plays it back to Kulak. Across to Bouchard. Here's McDavid again, a shot, and then blocked by Harley. And he'll play it out to center. Past 10 minutes of the second period. The two Oiler goals in a 36-second span. Late in the first from Bouchard and McDavid.
Arrange slots grid.
Out comes Dallas. Over on this right side off Quebec. Flipping it through with Steele unable to take the pass. Flipped away to center. Bissell had a stick on it.
Sound record. Real tech. Sound. Real. Audacity. Together. Microphone. Settings. Microphone. Sound dial. Micro. Select a recording device. Stereo. Microphone array. Micro. General tab. List. Up. Listen to this device checkbox checked. Listen tab item 2. Cancel. Listen tab. Levels. Main. Mute. Checked. Main volume. Slider. 1. 99. 70. 71. 100. Mute. OK. But. Levels tab item 3. Sound dial. Microphone array 4 of 4. Stereo mix. Configure. Button. Select a recording device. Stereo. Microphone array 1 of 4. Selected. Microphone array. Listen. Check. Up. Listen.
The worm as Kevin BX is
Together.
slides
Audacity.
it through,
Real.
gets
Sound
tripped
record.
down, power
Pause.
play coming up Edmonton.
Recording resume. Pause. Button.
Only 7
Application
Oilers
menu.
with shots in the
Arrange
game.
slots grid in
This
track 4
guy
audio.
put one in the
Scene
back
1.
of the
Slot.
net early. Connor McDavid flies in.
Track headers 3.
Sets
Enter
it
table
up.
track headers 7 by 1.
Looking for
Arrange
Draisaitl,
slots grid.
recovered by Nugent Hopkins. He has
Sound
3
record. Real tech
of the
audio console.
13.
Audacity
Good
window.
shots.
Track music.
Kept into
Real
the
tech.
line by
Sound.
Bouchard.
Session. App.
And now
YouTube.
flipped away
Image. Session.
by
Sound.
Steele.
Real.
Blackwell
Together.
almost
Microphone array.
caught
Play
it.
it. Listen to this
Get a
device. Listen tab.
short-handed
Sound dialogue. Select a recording
goal.
device. Microphone in 2 of 4. Selected.
Skinner there. Do I go? Do I stay?
Microphone in general. Listen to this. Together we rise window. Audacity win. Real tech audio console window.
Along the boards. Round to the far
Sound
side.
recorder.
Draisaitl
Session
has it.
group. Slots grid. Arrange slots grid. Arrange previous. Track Eric Beadle for audio input. Auto radio button in rate. Navigate. Settings. Settings. Audio input device. Microphone array. Intel microphone array. Stereo mix. Microphone array. Microphone in real tech. R. Audio settings group. Audio input device. Microphone in real tech. R. Audio. DX. Combo box. Read only. Collapse. Microphone in real tech. R. Audio. DX.
Wyatt Johnston plays it
Arrangement
away.
group. Monitoring. Slots grid. In track delay. Scene 1. Track. Air reverb. For audio. Selected. Slots. Option. Arrange. Device browse. Audio. Mini. Audio. Looper. Multi-band. Reverb. Multi-looper.
18 seconds left of the Mitchell penalty, and another tripping call coming up as Dallas is going to continue shorthanded.
Stop up at the line by Draisaitl, and as he does, he gets you thinking, okay, is he going to spin and go?
Exit
There's
device
the spin,
looper.
and it's just the stick between the legs.
Record button.
Not much of a violent play, but once you get that rotation and your stick's there, you know the call is coming up. Steele knew it fair well.
Oilers!
Record button.
Donkey Kong.
Stop. Record button. Stop. Record button.
Coming into this game.
Yeah, it was a 2 power plays. One that's 0 for 14 on the road and 6 for 10. And they got a pair in Dallas
Play
looking
button.
to make it 7 here on home.
One in each game.
Overdub button.
In Dallas, off the draw.
Play. Stop button.
So that was it. Just about good for the 5-on-3 as was the case in Dallas.
Right, Nugent Hopkins back on the bench. Yeah, there's some confusion of who was going to go out there as you had Henrique and Kane looking at each other is because Nugent Hopkins was down in the hallway. He's back on the bench now. Are you okay? Troy Stemper said, yeah, I'm all right. They took a pretty big hit before.
But that Aaron McDavid pass is the icing against the power play, and a face-off back in Oiler territory. Official with 2 seconds remaining stands in the box, getting set to return. Blackwell against Draisaitl on the face-off, and McDavid jumps in there to take charge and head north. Here's McDavid with the man to Kane, and Ottinger's got that at the top of the crease.
Well, you know, with the couple of seconds and a player coming out, instead of waiting and delaying and getting a setup, try to take advantage of it right off the draw. Of course, the speed, look at it, brings the two defensemen in together. That opens up a little bit of time for Kane as McDavid draws both the defenders into the middle of the ice, slips it to the outside, and Kane with the shot, but Ottinger with the glove save.
So here's the second unit, Henry, Perry, Kane, Wallman, and Klingberg. And Lindell will send it down the ice right on Stuart Skinner. There's Klingberg, 21 points in the bubble for Dallas in their trip to the Stanley Cup Final in 2020. And Wyatt Johnston will dump that back into Edmonton Ice.
I guarantee you that top unit sitting on the bench, that twitching right now, going out. Come on, guys, either get a whistle, give us an opportunity to get a second chance. There's the whistle.
For audio, select exit table. Looper device group. BPM. Length 1.0.0. Half double frag. Multi-purpose frag me.
They wouldn't even look
Frag
back
me.
to see if
Frag me.
Sather wanted to put him out
Multi-purpose
there.
transport button checkbox. Uncheck. Undo. Button clear. Quantization. Quantization. Global. Combo box. Quantization. Global. None. 8 bars. None. 8 bar. None.
Hey, Draisaitl is going to get waived again.
Has there been an Oilers throughout the year that gets waved out of his dot more than 29? I don't think so.
And off the draw. Battling there, Beck. Harley up the boards, but kept in by Draisaitl. Draisaitl open to the corner and kick back up top for Bouchard. And the captain, Draisaitl, Bouchard. And that blast is stopped. Harley plays it for Lindell with some time. And he'll get it all the way down the ice.
So you see the adjustment for McDavid there. Anytime you got a static power or penalty
speed, half speed, tempo, place, set, record, play, lunge, double, stop, play, record, save, reset, hot swap, audio effect, call out, multi-looper, 4 of 7, cabinet, beat, autofill, auto shift.
Sam Steele getting
Exit,
set to return in about seconds of this
correction, smoothing time, 3. Smoothing.
Evan Bouchard keeps the line. Plays it in behind the net. Trying to get up the trap, but sent back out to center. Here's Sagan. Dallas returns to full strength. So the Stars looking for a spark. Maybe get one here from their penalty kill. Sagan dumping it in. Sam Steele out of the box and onto the forecheck with Sagan. Duchesne there as well. Gets past Petrovic and played out. Steele across. Sagan for Duchesne. Kulak plays it to Yanmark. Up and around pass. What a jolt that was from Petrovic. Flattening Connor Crowder looks up and asks Aaron Kulak where the ball is. Along the boards, Robertson got it loose. In behind the net, Duchesne. Robertson trying to help out. Taking over is Rantanen. At the line, Bischel a shot. Rebound left in front. Robertson set it. Robertson tied up, but got a shot away. Bischel again. Scores! Leon Bischel has his first Stanley Cup playoff goal. Well,
Chris, you called it. The big hit along the boards by Petrovic just put this this Oiler group on the defensive. You're at about a minute 20 for each and every one of them. Janmark with the pass. Tough play for Brown as he rotates, and man, he took that shoulder right on the chin as he went down. To his credit, he stayed in the play, but look at the battles in front of the net. A rebound there for Skinner, unable to get control. Now
correction target note, C sharp button. Correction target note, C sharp, C sharp.
Like Robertson might have even got a tip
Smooth
of that
checkbox.
one.
Correction target, C sharp, C sharp.
By Stuart Skinner, I thought.
Cap D,
And that quick
Cap D,
release
Cap
ends up
D,
going
Cap D,
5-hole.
Cap D, Cap D,
So
Cap
a
D,
late
Cap
goal
Cap
giving
G.
Dallas a little bit of life here in period number 2.
Cap C.
Bishop would be an unlikely score, but if Robertson gets credit, maybe that's
pitch shift fine. Slider edit. Pitch shift.
his game going.
Pitch.
We'll wait for the official.
Correction. Correct. Cap C.
The official during the regular season had 4 goals in his rookie year. He scored twice in his first 3.
Hot swap. Blue for. Device act. Auto. Blue for. Hot swap. Save. Record. Over. Rec. Save. Hot swap. Audio effects list. Exit. Device detail. Device. Delete. Auto shift. Device. Arrange. Flip. Device. Device.
Official from Brandon and Shane is the initial call.
Pitch shift fine. Pitch shift fine. Slider edit field at 0 cents.
Davey Ben flips it high. Skinner flips that down. Around it comes to Sagan. And to the net. Johnston. And Skinner down. Still loose. And cleared away by Krutner. That's a huge stop by Skinner. Off Johnston. As the Stars are coming on. But here's McDavid. Can't get to the net. Going back for Duchesne. On the move is Mason Marchment.
He's got it's a 3-on-2 with one guy with a stick, and they kind of just avoid that. And if you're the coach and you're the D coach, you're like, oh boy, like I don't know if I can play these guys that much tonight. But then it changes. Petrovic throws
Control center. Hearing page 1 of 4. Page Dallas at Edmonton. Live. Go back and fifth play. Button.
the big hit.
The dice was tilted for go back. Speech off.
Charge with Ransom trying to break. Around behind it. Unable to stop that.
McDavid's going to score half.
Guard at the line. McDavid's got it again. To the net.
What a goal!
2 for Connor McDavid. And another 2-goal Edmonton lead.
While the flair for the dramatics come from your best players, McDavid uses his speed. Should have maybe been a hook on CC there. Looked like maybe Dallas is going to clear the zone. How about this play? Evan Bouchard does so many good things. Keeps aggressive there, keeps it in at the line, and it's McDavid just a couple of quick strides, a shot up and over. You saw it earlier, Skinner, how out-aggressive he was on the glove save there. Ottinger was trapped back in his blue paint about a foot behind. And McDavid, while keeping his legs going, able to lift that one up and over the shoulder to make it 3-1.
Came into the game as the shot leader in the NHL. Here's another chance as team look for a rebound in front. McDavid had 51 shots, but a 5.9% shooting percentage. 2 for 2 here this afternoon in Game 3. And the horn sounds. What a dramatic finish to the period as McDavid scores his second of the game, 5th of the postseason at 1941 from Evan Bouchard when it felt a little like the ice was starting
arrangement
to tilt
timeline
in the
sound recorder window
favor.
mark pause
Game 3 and the score
current time 0 hours
3-1.
57 minutes pause.
After 2 periods of play, shots 30-19 Dallas, but Connor McDavid's fired a couple into the back of the net. Our second intermission coming up.
Mark pause.
So chill with me through the night, we will shine, shine, shine. And I know that we'll bring the fight, it's our time.
Yes, the Oilers are going to win
On the
game
ice,
3.
we break the sound with
Record.
So I I recently uploaded a video called Together We Rise. This is for the Edmonton Oilers, but we're going to win. Game 3 and the Stanley Cup Conference Final and the Stanley Cup. The Oilers will have to get their 6th Stanley Cup win for the first time in 35 years. Oilers will get their 6th Stanley Cup banner. And the Oilers, yes, heading for the final against Florida. Yes. Let's cheer for the Edmonton Oilers.
Pause. Mark, pause.
Yes. Let's make this video
real. Together we write. Microphone in. Together we write 66, 80%,
100 views.
Real sound.
Even 1,000 or 1 million. Let's go Oilers. The third period is next.
3-0 in the Eastern Conference Final, and these games have not been close. If you've been following along, you know exactly what I mean. If not, just picture the third period of Game 1 of this series, but over and over and over again. Florida has been dominant. 6-2 the final last night. They will try for the series sweep. The Panthers will tomorrow, 6 o'clock our time. In the Memorial Cup, the London Knights taking on the Rimouski Oceanic, the host team. 0-1 right now, the Oceanic. London picking up an overtime win yesterday over Moncton, getting a 2-goal effort from Oilers property Sam O'Reilly. As far as the Blue Jays go on the diamond today, an ugly effort. 13-0, the final there in favor of the Tampa Bay Rays. So that is where we sit through 40 minutes. This, as you mentioned, puck drop in that Oceanic and London Knights game at about 4 o'clock, if I didn't already. We here have puck drop on the third period right around the corner. It's going to be a doozy. It's going to be a special finish to this game.
Playback meter.
He's leading the team back to the ice. We'll chat again in Oilers overtime. On behalf of Rob Brown, it's Brendan Escott. Enjoy the third period. Jack Michaels, Bob Stauffer have the call next.
Microphone
this has been At the Intermission.
Together,
brought to you by End of the
real
Road
sound,
Flooring Centers.
pause.
Let's get flooring. This is your fourth.
Yes, that was Brendan Escott. Yeah, Brendan Escott.
Sound recorder link. Real microphone. Listen to this device checkbox unchecked. Apply. Recording.
All right, Oilers, this is the third period. Let's see if Connor McDavid score a hat trick.
Get Connor McDavid second of the night, 18 and a half seconds before the break. Bouchard with a goal and an assist today. Nugent Hopkins, 2 apples. And Edmonton, despite being outshot 21-7 in the second period and losing Connor Brown for the remainder of the game now, we're told. He will not return after that high hit from Alex Petrovic at live speed, Bob, and I haven't had the chance to see every possible angle. I did think he caught him.
Oh, it was high.
I thought it was high, and I thought maybe the elbow got up near the head. But nevertheless, McDavid wins the opening faceoff, and we're underway in the third period. McDavid out there with Draisaitl and Perry, so that's back to a look that we last saw in the Vegas series. Moving in right-hand side, Haskin in a centering pass, broken up, and McDavid will move it up for Corey Perry, who swiftly shoots it in from center. Edmonton left to right in this third period. Once again, Draisaitl to McDavid, and he blistered one just over top. Wrap around Perry, and Perry thought he had scored for just a moment. I think he actually had the inside of the post available to him, and he put it kind of back into Ottinger's body.
Jake Ottinger didn't see the puck.
No.
He had lost sight of the puck on the first McDavid shot, which...
Let's see where Perry puts this. See, he did. He had a good foot and a half of the goalpost available to him, but he put it right into his pads.
So the Oilers are going to go Nugent, Hopkins, Kane, and Hyman here.
Right.
This trio has had about a 64% expected goals for 5-on-5 when they play together.
And they last played together against Vegas in Game 3 in this building, and that was the game where the Oilers coughed up an early 2-0 lead, Bob, and lost at the buzzer.
Haven't played together since. Jamie Benn on an outlet pass will snap it in there from Thomas Harley. Darnell Nurse up the left-hand side. Again, Edmonton down to 11 forwards with the injury to Connor Brown. Chipped in, and Jake Ottinger will send it over to Cody Ceci. Game 4 will be Tuesday night at 6 o'clock right here at Rogers Place. Nugent Hopkins grappling for puck possession. Jamie Benn whirls it up to the Edmonton blue line. Nurse, and now we've got it breaking open. Nugent Hopkins right circle wrist shot, and that grazed Ottinger and stayed out. Just missed the far post.
That was a great shot.
Lead pass too far, and Klingberg unable to connect with Kapanen, icing against Edmonton with 1:15 gone by in the third period. I don't mind this shift for another reason, Bob, and it's something you alluded to earlier in this game when Evander Kane was with Adam Henrique. Nugent Hopkins is going, and maybe pairing him with Kane gets Kane going a little bit.
The other thing is, Jack, the Oilers 5v5 weren't going in the second period.
At all, on all four lines. Nugent Hopkins lining up against Matt Duchene. This, for my money, I know the fourth line has been the energy line. This is, among the three scoring lines, been the most dangerous this afternoon. Kane will lift it behind the Dallas defense. Bishop able to locate over to Alex Petrovic. Right-hand side for Marchment. He'll scoot away from traffic in the form of Henrique. Petrovic to Duchene, and Marchment will bang it back in. Wallman with Marchment crowding him and ultimately nudging that toward the net, allowing Stuart Skinner to pick it up. Minute 39 gone by, third period. Stuart Skinner, 30 saves today. And it's interesting he's at that number because, Bob, I looked it up a little bit further, and I would say this is his best game. And I know he had the shutout in San Jose and a couple of shutouts, earlier in this playoffs. But I would say this is his most impressive outing since that mid-January 1-0 game against L.A., where he turned in a clean sheet with 30 saves.
I think you're going to see a lot of three lines from the Edmonton Oilers here.
Yes, but Corey Perry is going to score a hat-trick.
Rantanen wrestled free against Bouchard. A quick snapshot taken by Wyatt Johnson and a save by Stuart Skinner. And if you're Dallas, you must be having some flashbacks to the last time you were in this building in the playoffs, when Skinner closed it out with 33 saves and a 2-1 victory in Game 6. A game where Edmonton managed all of 10 shots on net. Draisaitl let it go through. Perry negated any sort of icing, but Haskin able to clear. Rantanen cross Seaman to Granlund, and it's tossed in deep. Wyatt Johnson in on the forecheck. Nifty play by Kulak to get it to McDavid. And now Draisaitl has the feet moving as he'll softly send it in for Trent Frederick and peel off on a change. Granlund carved it loose for Cody Ceci, and then backhanded it up to Blackwell and guided in by Sam Steele. Could not get through Troy Stetcher, however, and it was cleared as far as the line. Hacked back in by Asa Lindell. Stetcher to Darnell Nurse, who resets for Edmonton. Troy Stetcher. Back to Trent Frederick. Matthias Ekholm still a scratch for tonight's game, or today's game rather, and the next opportunity for him to be able to play would be Tuesday night, Game 4 against Dallas. I think if you asked Bob and I, and you pumped us full of the truth serum, we'd probably say we don't feel he's going to play in Game 4 either.
No.
Play Game 4.
One thing that's going to be interesting for Edmonton here is if Brown's being held out for the rest of the game. If he can't go on Tuesday, the Oilers have a right winger that they signed on free agency day that'd love to get back
Victor Arvidsson. No stranger to Dallas, of course, having been in the Central Division for so many years. Here's Marchment off a chance. A wrist shot to save. And Skinner with the puck bouncing around, and somehow it stayed out. Duchene had it in his grasp, but could not bury it. That puck was sitting and available in the blue paint, and Duchene could never get there. He sends a pass into Sagan. His shot stopped by Skinner, and the rebound cleared by Evander Kane. Lead pass. Oh, Hyman's got a breakaway. Shoots and scores.
Yeah! We have a goal. The Oilers have set a 4-1 lead.
Dallas somehow doesn't score at one end, and Hyman buries it at the other.
I'm not scoring a goal. I mean, if you're Dallas, you got to be shocked by that. You're all around the net. And I believe it was that puck stayed out, I have no Nugent Hopkins with a great stretch pass to Zach Hyman. They're checking to see if it's offside. Dallas got their line on the ice.
He's got a playmaker with 3 assists tonight. Ryan Nugent Hopkins has 7 points in this series. 7. And Edmonton on the verge of taking a 2-1 series lead. The Oilers 4, the Stars 1, 16 and a half to go. Heiskanen weaves his way in, his shot blocked, and Kasperi Kapanen will bring it to center and dump it in. Back to get it. Jamie Benn up the left-hand side for Wyatt Johnston. Heiskanen hits the line. Dallas has to be thoroughly frustrated at this stage of the game. Shot clock reads 34-19 for the Stars, and yet it's Edmonton with a 3-goal lead.
3-goal
Sometimes
extension.
the shot clock can be deceiving. It's not this afternoon. Here's to Donoff. Centering pass and a shot by Robertson stays out. Dallas would dearly love to get him going. Heiskanen shot from the right point, deflected, out of play. 4 1/4 gone by in the third period. Edmonton leads by a count of 4-1.
It's a crazy game, isn't it?
Well, that's what a goaltender can do for you. And that's what opportunistic and explosive scoring can do for you.
Scoring, and they have let the dogs out.
Sometimes when you're a highly skilled team, Bob, all you need is one chance.
Well, the Oilers had about 4 odd man breaks when it was 2-0 and may have been able to grab a stranglehold at that point. They now got their 3-goal separation. Lots of time left, and Dallas is selling out. The Oilers are going to get some counter-strike chances here. Dallas did a real good job of forechecking in this game, Jack.
Off the draw, blistered wide. Grab by Thomas Harley, and a shot from distance by Rantanen ends up being tipped wide of the mark.
Address and search bar.
Brandon,
Edit. Search.
right circle. Stripped. Perry. And now the crowd, once again, spiritedly engaged in this one. At times, they've been on their heels tonight, but the Oilers have found a way. And they've got a commanding 4-1 lead as McDavid sends it in deep. And some sarcastic catcalls thrown in the direction of Jake Ottinger. Stars will break out. Sam Steele, a shot on net. Skinner makes the save. Blackwell and Steele trying to hunt down that puck. McDavid able to brush aside one check. He's got Draisaitl and Nurse. A shot left circle, and that was deflected up and out of play by Miro Heiskanen. 5 1/4 gone by in the third period. And Edmonton with a 4-1 lead. Nugent Hopkins 3 assists. Hyman a goal and an assist. Bouchard a goal and an apple. And Connor McDavid has scored twice. Nugent Hopkins between Kane and Hyman. First game played before 4 o'clock in the Stanley Cup playoffs in this city since 1997. Kane digging in. To Ottinger's right, Sagan won the draw. Dallas has won a lot of things well today, but have not capitalized. Stetcher will shovel it back in.
They got about 60% of the face-off wins, Jack.
Heiskanen to Lindell up the left-hand side. Mason Marchment. Well, as Bob will tell you, it's what he's always said. Face-offs are overrated. Stetcher, right-hand side for Nugent Hopkins. And we had the puck play with a high stick. 14-18 to go in the third period. Well, you know,
Hyman filled him in after he passed the puck. Zach Hyman, over 100 hits, Jack, in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's really been a revelation. He's got the most hits per game of anyone in the playoffs in 21 years, going all the way back to 2004. Had 21 hits in the first 2 games of this series. But back to one of the matchups we talked about at the start of the series. I said Dallas cannot win if Jake Ottinger is outplayed by Stuart Skinner for a second consecutive year. And right now, it's happening again. Stuart Skinner at the top of his game, 34 saves this afternoon.
Well, Dallas has pushed and pushed and pushed.
and been foiled time and again by Skinner. Petrovic fanned on a dump in. Here come the Oilers. Vasily Podkolzin showing one-timer. Klingberg had it blocked. Jamie Benn doesn't have the requisite speed to get by Jake Wallman, who comes over to cut him off. Wallman, however, relieved of the puck by Wyatt Johnston in his best game of the series. But Johnston, in turn, his slot entry pass is picked off and shot in deep by Trent Frederick. And then Frederick was sent caterwauling into the goalpost. Was he ridden there by Bischel? I had taken my eyes off him, but he ended up going awkwardly into the post. And he's a little banged up here.
He's had that ankle injury, Jack.
We're going to take a timeout. Frederick is back up. That left leg. Edmonton already having lost Connor Brown. Frederick will skate it off under his own power. We'll return with more live third period play-by-play. It's Game 3 of the Western Conference Final. The Stanley Cup playoffs. Edmonton 4, Dallas 1, with the Oilers poised to take a 2-1 series lead with 4 dealers NHL hockey. The Oilers Radio Network. 13:41 left to play in the third period. Edmonton 4 and Dallas 1. Oilers with 2 in the first, 1 in the second, and 1 here in the third. Fourth goals of the game have come immediately after Dallas flurries, where the Stars come away with nothing and then fall further behind. Draisaitl wins the faceoff. Out to the point, Kulak across to Bouchard. A shot redirected dangerous wide by Draisaitl, setting a net front screen. Draisaitl, McDavid, and Perry put back together for the third period of this Game 3. McDavid, who scored twice today, out to Bouchard, walking the line, right around Robertson, down the seam, and Bouchard thought he was hooked. Nothing was called. Stick appeared to get in on the hands. Matt Duchene down the right-hand side. For a moment, it looked like Bouchard had parted the seas. McDavid, a stretch play to Perry. I don't think he got his stick on it. Coming over to hustle it off his stick was Cody Ceci, but Draisaitl won a battle. Perry sent it back to Nurse. Miscommunication. And charging down the right wing is Mikko Rantanen. Heading for the net is Sam Steele. Biding his time, Rantanen on to Heiskanen. Steele is open, but his shot was blocked by Troy Stetcher. Didn't have the ability to one-time the puck, and it cost him. Rantanen back to Steele, rolls up top and away from Draisaitl. Saucered across, Rantanen tried to put it between the skates of Draisaitl, who lobbed it back through the middle, where it's eventually shot by Nurse inside the Dallas blue line. 12 and a half minutes to go in Game 3. As Edmonton looks to take a 2-1 series lead. Kane's stick shattered, and maybe good for him because it looked like he might have been guilty of a slash himself. Hyman against Lindell. Kane had it and lost it. Carried forth by Heiskanen. Left circle, tried to center. That was broken up. Big hit down low in the corner on Blackwell. Held in by Bischel. Fires one wide. Rebound Nugent Hopkins. Muscled off the puck by Mason Marchment. Hard to the net on his backhand. Tried to guide it back to Bischel, who held the zone even as he took a hit to make the play. Bischel working over Zach Hyman, but ultimately Stetcher made certain of a clear back inside the Dallas line.
Bischel's become a factor here, Jack.
Here's Mason Marchment, but that play is offside. Sagan and Duchene might have been offside there. 11:37 left in the third period. Well, they may be factors, but all of a sudden the well has gone a little bit dry for Dallas in the last 4 or 5 minutes as they've fallen further behind, and they haven't been able to get a shot on net against Stuart Skinner.
That's because Stetcher made an awesome block in the last sequence down low.
And then a clear.
He gives you what he's got.
And he's got plenty. Tell you what, we may see Edmonton do what Dallas did when Heiskanen first arrived back in the lineup, and that's go 11-7, especially if Brown is unable to go for Game 4.
Great point by you.
I mean, Matthias Ekholm, maybe you do work him in 15 to 18 minutes as opposed to giving him a regular workload. Dallas certainly did that. Off the draw, here's Thomas Harley to Matt Duchene. Bumped it back down low, Harley in the corner. Trying to shrug off a check from Klingberg. Up the right-hand side. Battling. Frederick won a battle. Enrique to Darnell Nurse. Marchment pursuing. Nurse wisely just kept the puck on his stick, and as Dallas changes, Edmonton can melt some clock. Klingberg to McDavid. They're not going to give him center.
Wow.
No, that's a good call, actually.
It's tight, but you expect if you're Connor McDavid.
Yes.
It's a stride from center.
Yeah.
But Peter DeBoer, a lawyer.
Yeah, that one, Bob, if you saw it on the replay, that was 2 strides. I got to give him credit.
Are you
for
saying he couldn't
call.
have been the first one to the puck?
Well, I'm not saying McDavid wouldn't have been the first one to the puck.
I know. It was now a big D zone drop. Leon against Ben. Ben's at 45% in the playoffs. Regular seasons, he's usually around 55.
Well, again, he's only been a part-time center iceman, as you know. Johnson takes a lot of draws. Here, Draisaitl just overpowered him to win the face-off, and Klingberg on Kulak. And it's chipped inside the Dallas line. And the Oilers have played a solid 5 or 6 minutes here, preventing a further Dallas push. Kulak off a dump-in. Able to break away from traffic and backhand it up the right-hand side, trying to fish it out of there, Miro Heiskanen. But by the time he did, the puck exited the zone. Benn across the Lindell, and it's slammed back in. Jamie Benn down low in the corner. Puck came free into the slot, and the Oilers are there. Connor McDavid lugs it to the red line. This time makes certain he hits the red line and dumps it in. Line change coming for both clubs. Heiskanen to the red. Jason Robertson fired it rink wide for Rantanen. Little reverse pop on Podkolzin. And then coming in to follow up was Hyman. A drive by Ceci and a save made by goaltender Stuart Skinner. That's his 35th save of the night and brings us to a timeout on the ice. 9:56 to go in the third period, and Edmonton leads this best of 7, Game 3 of the Western Conference Final by a count of 4-1. Want to remind everyone that Oilers Kids and Country Playoffs 50-50 presented by Rogers is back with major jackpots. This one currently sitting at over $3.6 million. More live play-by-play from downtown Rogers Place in just a moment. The Oilers Radio Network. Well, despite being outshot by almost a 2-1 margin, the Edmonton Oilers nevertheless in command of Game 3 of the Western Conference Final. 4-1 our score. McDavid has scored twice today. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, 3 assists and 7 points in the series. Draisaitl creates for Perry off a dump-in. Perry, McDavid, and a one-timer fanned on by Troy Stetcher. Rantanen from Robertson. Takes it across the line. Dallas without Rope Hintz. It's top line center. Rantanen and Robertson continue to battle in the corner. The puck pried loose for Troy Stetcher. He'll look up ice and deliver a soft toss that Perry allows to hit him and rebound inside the Dallas line. Thomas Harley up to Rantanen. Nowhere to go. 2 Oilers collapse on him. Inside to Sam Steele, who likewise is well checked. And the puck off his stick. Oh, Volmanov. Good reverse pop on Oscar Beck. It's getting nasty out there. Familiarity breeds contempt. Rematch of the Western Conference Final, the first of its ilk in 11 years. Here's Podkolzin in from the right-hand side. Setting up Klingberg, a shot tipped on net by Janmark and a save made. And Janmark absorbs a little shove from Bischel. Matthias Janmark, whose best offensive campaign came with the Dallas Stars, with whom he broke in about a decade ago.
19-goal season, as you know.
Yep. Drafted, of course, by Kenny Holland in Detroit, but broke his teeth in the NHL with Dallas. 4-1. Edmonton on top. 8:46 to play in the third period.
One guy that's played really well tonight. It's an obvious he's got 3 assists, but Nugent-Hopkins
is been a force in this series. He came to the fore in Game 6 and 7 last year in the second round against Vancouver, and he showed up on time for the Western Conference Final. Sagan did not get a touch across center, and as a result, on a wraparound by Petrovic, it's going to be icing against Dallas. And the other guy that's really obvious is Stuart Skinner.
With 8 minutes, 38 seconds left in the third period, the Edmonton Oilers are beating the Dallas Stars 4-1.
And again, I know he's had a couple of shutouts in this postseason. 3 to be exact, matching Curtis Joseph's record in 1998 for most bagels turned in by an Oiler netminder. But he hasn't been as good in those 3 shutouts, hasn't needed to be, as he has been this afternoon. Marchman off the draw, lead pass Sagan. And from center ice, he'll dump it in. Bischel, hard reverse hit, levied by Klingberg, who went flying. That's what happens when you collide with a 6'7", 235-pounder. Gets it back to Petrovic, and at center ice, Sagan will walk it in for Dallas. Gives it up, Marchman. Forced out wide. This has been Dallas's most dangerous line. Bischel has the only goal, and that's telling. For as many opportunities as the Stars have had tonight, they've been foiled repeatedly. Evander Kane left wing. Beautiful pass and drilled home. What a feed from Kane and Zach Hyman with his second goal of the afternoon and a microcosm of what we've seen throughout Game 3. 5-1 Edmonton. The Oilers put it away.
You said it, just lovely touch from Evander Kane. The Oilers won 2 puck battles down the left side wall. Kane was at the end of his shift, elevated the puck over Esa Lindell. Hyman taps it home. 5-1 Oilers.
But what I mean, Bob, is Dallas has pressure. Yep. They're buzzing around. Edmonton, as you said, wins the puck battle, gets one chance. And the man they call Shaq Hyman at Edmonton scores his second of the afternoon. And this one, it's all over but the crying for the Dallas Stars. 5-1.
No penalties, Jack, if you're Edmonton. Play under control. You got a 4-goal lead.
Stars will send it down the middle. Wristed up the right-hand side. Kapanen will knife it toward the Dallas net. So Hyman and McDavid with a pair of goals today. Bouchard a goal and an assist. That's more than enough offense for Stuart Skinner. Off a dump in, Harley to Wyatt Johnston. Nudges it too far for Jamie Benn. Cut off by Darnell Nurse. Hyman from Kane at 12:06. And the Oilers with 2 in the first, 1 in the second, and 2 here in the third to pull away from Dallas. Stars got it back to 2-1, had a couple chances to tie it. At 3-1, had numerous chances to draw within 3-2, and it just hasn't happened for them today. Draisaitl to McDavid, thundering in against Petrovic, and we'll have a late offside call as Corey Perry, the guilty party, on the right wing. 6:44 to play in regulation, and Edmonton, despite being a -15 on the shot clock, is a +4 on the scoreboard with a 5-1 lead in Game 3. Game 4 will be Tuesday night. We'll have it for you 6 o'clock right here on the Oilers Radio Network. Jack, Bob, Brendan, and Rob, and Aiden with our ringside chats. He'll have a plethora of candidates today, Bob.
Yep.
Oilers lead at 5-1. Bischel shovels it down low. Kulak on the puck for Edmonton. Could not muscle it out. Blackwell against Nugent Hopkins. Kane checks him against the boards. Shot by Petrovic. Does not manage to work its way through. Hyman will ice it. And this will be an icing call. And I go back to what Corey Perry said after the first game of this series, Bob. From a Dallas standpoint, you have to start thinking, look, today wasn't our day, but we've still got a chance to get what we came for. A split and a chance to regain home ice advantage.
And Dallas, they got 6 minutes to score 4 goals. The problem for them tonight is that Heiskanen and Lindell, that's who the Oilers have victimized. By the way, Zach Hyman is +5 in this hockey game, John. And it's tough for him to be any better.
Then 2 goals and +5?
2 goals.
With the hits? How many hits does he have?
2 goals, 3 points, +5. And they have him at 7 hits.
28 hits in the first 3 games. That's a pretty productive series. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, 7 points in the series. And again, Stuart Skinner, I would suggest his best game in 4 months. Robertson off the draw, can't get a shot through. Nugent-Hopkins looking to clear, and it's powered out of the zone by Kane.
And he's working Heiskanen over.
Yeah, a few extra shots on him. Granlund burst of speed into the zone, relieved of the puck. Kulak and Granlund go at it in the half wall. Granlund got it to the point. Draisaitl on the back check. Heiskanen put it down low. Inside Heiskanen. Out to the point. Granlund loads and fires, and that stayed out. Rebound in front of the blue paint and cleared by Bouchard. The Oilers have found just enough pucks to help out their goaltender when he's needed it. Robertson carries the zone, and a shot knocked out of play by John Klingberg. That's a guy that Edmonton, even in garbage time here with 5.5 to go, wants to keep off the scoreboard. Let Jason Robertson sleep. Well, Edmonton has put Dallas to a collective sleep. With 5:25 to go in the third period, we'll count you down with the final 5 minutes plus from Rogers Place. Game 3 of the West Final. Edmonton 5, Dallas 1. Who would I be to interrupt the legendary Bon Jovi? It's a party-like atmosphere. The first matinee game for the Edmonton Oilers in the Stanley Cup playoffs at home since 1997. Well, it's gone well. Edmonton 5, Dallas 1. Oilers played 9 afternoon games this year. Dallas only played 2, and both of those were in Finland. This is the first time the Stars have played an afternoon game on North American soil.
From NJ1015.com. Bon Jovi is coming to MetLife Stadium for at least 2 concerts next summer.
The problem is he's one of your penalty killers, too.
Sorry, Podkolzin. Podkolzin, my apologies. Podkolzin chopping down Thomas Harley, and Dallas will get a power play here, but with 5-1 the score and 5:01 to play, at least in the immediacy.
So you're telling me when they were over in Europe, they played an afternoon game?
Yes.
So what time did that?
I have no clue.
I mean,
if you want me to compare finish time to our time, live speed, Bob, you're going to have to give me 30 seconds of research.
I think Sweden is 8 hours ahead, so I'm going to guess that it's 8 hours ahead.
Sweden and Finland in the same time zone?
Pretty sure, yeah.
The right-hand side, off the draw, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins shorthanded. It's a Nap Auto Parts penalty kill.
Look at this, McDavid.
Put to the test for just the second time today, and yeah, McDavid's second over the boards here.
Well, yep.
No Connor Brown, remember?
Right, yes.
And Podkolzin's in the box, so you're a little shorthanded. Come on, give me credit for that.
That's
Robertson back to Heiskanen. It's 5-1, 4:20 to go. Lighten up, Buttercup.
Great creativity on your part, Josh.
Duchesne to Robertson. Stripped off his stick. Hyman doesn't get it out. Second effort, no, he did. Linesman, it's so loud in here. The linesman on the far side had it, Johnny Murray, and raced over to make sure that Matt McPherson enforced the offside against Dallas. 4:14 to go, 1:13 left in this Nap Auto Parts penalty kill. Oilers lead game 3, 5-1.
Lots of gamesmanship. Bischel with a cheap hit on Frederick. Even there, Jason Robertson getting outside of his comfort zone. A little up tap to Zach Hyman.
Kasperi Kapanen, who played a little center himself earlier in this year when the Oilers were banged up.
Zach Hyman's got 2 goals, 3 points, plus 5 and 7 hits. And he's not going to be the first star tonight.
Think it'll be Skinner?
Yep.
Here's Granlund. Charging in from the left-hand side. Stood up by Brett Kulak. Nurse, hard rim through Tyler Seguin. And that drains a little more of the Dallas reserves. Pete DeBoer, who has presided over the team that has lost 5 of the last 6 conference finals. San Jose, Vegas, and the last 2, Dallas. It's gotten close. 97 wins, the most in NHL history for a coach who has not won the Stanley Cup. Hyman for the hat trick set up by McDavid through the neutral zone. But his shot from the left wing deflected out of play. And we got it. Unsportsmanlike conduct coming.
They finally called one.
And that'll even up the situation here.
Number 55, 2 for unsportsmanlike.
Harley, 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike, and that'll be 4-on-4 for the next 28 seconds. Of the top 16 coaches in terms of playoff victories, Pete DeBoer and who are the only coaches never to win a Stanley Cup?
I'm going to guess Bruce Boudreau.
Think closer to home, Bob.
Todd McClellan.
A former head coach of the Edmonton Oilers that you have still not named.
Dave Tippett.
You have still not named.
I feel shame, and I will go to box. So, have not won a Stanley Cup.
Not won a Stanley Cup. There's two guys in the top 16 coaches of playoff wins who have not won a Stanley Cup. Pete DeBoer is 5th on the list. This guy is 8th. Evander Kane or Darnell Nurse. His name is Pat Quinn. Here's Draisaitl shrugging off Alex Petrovic.
I love Pat Quinn, God rest his soul, but that was 1 year, Jack.
Stetcher, well, he was still a former head coach.
And I was the color guy of the team that year.
I know, that's why I said close to home, my friend. Here's Stetcher. Darnell Nurse. Draisaitl, one-touch Stetcher. This is 4-on-4, but it looks like an Edmonton power play. The Oilers are just putting on a clinic. Draisaitl to Kane, but Colson has come on here. Stetcher, Draisaitl, Kane down the slot. Couldn't pull the trigger. Draisaitl waits and shoots. Draisaitl doesn't have a point today. Came in a three-way tie for the lead in the Stanley Cup scoring race. He doesn't have a point. Edmonton's up 5-1. Been that kind of day. Draisaitl to Hyman in tight. Put Colson a shot. Save Ottinger. Then stretches out to rob Evander Kane as well. 2.5 to play in the hockey game. 55 seconds left in the Atco power play. Edmonton's third of the afternoon. Draisaitl just threw Blackwell aside, and John Klingberg scores. Draisaitl powered through the checker and set up Klingberg for a wrist shot that applies the coup de grace on a 6-1 win.
Well, nobody can walk the line in his prime like John Klingberg, but it was Leon Draisaitl for a reverse pivot. And then he swung it back, and the Oilers had a net front. And Klingberg shot through the screen with a nice little shuffle step. 6-1 Edmonton.
And just like that, Draisaitl does have a point. In this runaway, I mean, he just tossed aside Colin Blackwell like he wasn't even there. Hit Klingberg, and watch Klingberg beat a screen Jake Ottinger to the glove side. Stars get it in deep. Lindell, a shot from the left point, deflected. Klingberg, a little slide step to create the shooting lane, Bob, as you talked about. He's had that ability for a decade in the NHL. Started, of course, in Dallas, where he was a 5th-round pick back in 2010. Taken away by Adam Henrique. In his own zone, he'll move it up the left-hand side. Draisaitl on Kane with the helpers on that power play goal for John Klingberg, who's put up good numbers over the course of his Stanley Cup playoff career. 9 goals, 43 points in 76 games. Dump in by Edmonton. Ottinger leaves it for Bischel. Crowd enjoying the final minute 20 with victory secure. 6-1 Edmonton in Game 3. The Oilers will take a 2-1 series lead. Put Colson from Janmark up the center. Spins it off the board. Settled by Ceci. Wyatt Johnston stopped off the rush. Now sets up Beck wide open. And Skinner able to kick it aside. Johnston tried to bank it off Skinner. And it ends up drifting through the neutral zone. Kane with Lindell back. Stepping up. Centering pass intended for Kapanen. Klingberg across. Frederick is the center on this line. Listen to this crowd. Blackwell flipped it out of play. Then we had pushing and shoving, where Blackwell and Kapanen first went at it. Evander Kane came charging in. 24.6 to go.
He's there with Petrovic, and we know this from their, wasn't really a trilogy, but the night that Kane fought Petrovic 3 times.
It was a trilogy. It was just a one-sided one.
Alec Petrovic can take a punch. Because Evander landed some bombs that night.
Well, and again, the courage is
undeniable.
Yes.
You keep coming back for more. That says all there is to it for Petrovic. And look, he's been good tonight. We've noticed him. He's playing ahead of a couple of their guys that they signed to multi-year deals.
He caught up to Brendan Smith and Matt Dumba. The last 2 years, he's played 6 games in the American Hockey League. And tonight is Alex Petrovic's 22nd playoff game over that stretch. He's a designated Stanley Cup playoff guy. They'll sort out the penalties here. Again, it started with Kapanen and Blackwell. Reminder, Game 4, Sunday, 6 Mountain right here at Rogers Place. Today is Sunday. Game 4 is Tuesday. And we'll have it for you at 6 o'clock right here at Rogers Place with the Oilers looking to push the Stars to the brink. Florida will try to close out Carolina tomorrow.
I wouldn't bet against them.
Panthers and Oilers closing in on a potential Stanley Cup final rematch. Edmonton 2 wins away, Florida 1 after today's result. Blackwell and Kapanen, coincidental roughing minors, will finish this game 4-on-4. So, once again, Bob's assertions.
I was wrong.
Yeah.
Troy Bowler telling us Sweden is 8 hours ahead of Canada, or ahead of Alberta. Finland is 9 hours ahead.
Apparently, just because you're in Scandinavia doesn't mean that you're all the same time zone.
All that means is the
20
Finns,
seconds.
they start drinking earlier.
Were it not for the NHL, I'm not sure Bob would have traveled much further than the Edmonton city limits. But on a day like this, why would you want to travel? They'll count you down for the final 10 seconds. Ecstasy as the Oilers put the finishing touches on a 6-1 victory over the Dallas Stars, who fired 37 shots against Stuart Skinner and were repelled on all but one occasion. The only man to beat him was Liam Bichel, who scored his first ever Stanley Cup playoff goal in the second period. But the backbreaker was the McDavid goal in the final 18 seconds. Bob talked about it as key. Could not shake off the disappointment and gave up 3 more unanswered goals in the third period to turn what had been a close game into an absolute rout. McDavid and Hyman scoring twice. Bouchard with a goal and an assist. Nugent Hopkins with 3 assists. And John Klingberg with a late power play goal to put it away. Aiden, what do you have?
Yeah, thanks, guys. Evander, you guys lose a tough Game 1 in Dallas. You guys find a way to fight back and split the series in Game 2. You come out back home, set the tone, a massive win in Game 3. What does that do for the group?
Yeah, obviously it was a big-time game coming back. Obviously wanted to take care of home ice, and in order to do that, you got to take care of the first, and we were able to do that. You know, they played a good game as well. They pushed, they had a lot of shots, but I thought we did a good job of defending, clearing pucks out, and when we got our chances, we capitalized.
Now, a couple of points for you in this one, but a couple of points as well for Evan Bouchard. I mean, he's just been high-flying during this playoffs. One of the greater defenders on your squad. Can you just speak how big he's been for your team?
Well, can you only imagine if he shot the puck a little bit more? My God. I mean, that's how he gets his points, right? He either scores or he creates rebounds. You know, he's playing really well. Obviously, he's a great defenseman and has a ton of poise and patience back there and sees the ice real well. And, you know, we need him to continue to play the way he's playing.
Thanks a lot, Evander.
Thanks, guys.
And thank you, Aiden. Final score 6-1. Edmonton pounds Dallas and puts the Stars away in emphatic fashion. And again, the one thing, if you're Dallas, Bob, I guess what you have to say is, look, today wasn't our day.
No.
Everything that could go wrong did go wrong. You know, for every 5 opportunities we had, the Oilers would come down and score at the other end, and all of a sudden we'd be chasing our tail again. So you write it off, and you have to take the Corey Perry measured approach, and that is we came up to Edmonton for a split.
Yep.
How do the Stars get one, though, if Stuart Skinner continues to outplay Jake Ottinger?
It's going to be tough. If I'm Pete DeBoer, I'm sitting there saying, look, we had a great game 5v5. We dominated and tilted the ice and stretchers. Their goalie stole tonight's game for the Edmonton Oilers. I mean, there's really no other way to say it. When this game was in the balance, the Oilers did not capitalize on the odd man breaks that were there in the second period. But the man to answer the bell for Edmonton was Stuart Skinner. And they beat him once on, 36 shots on goal tonight. Just a brilliant performance. His best, as you mentioned, dating back to the game against LA.
That's what I would say. I don't know whether you disagree. That's a game that comes to mind.
We disagreed a lot. I'll agree with you on that. I think
it's 4 months.
It's 4 months.
It's if you're an Edmonton fan and you see Skinner play that type of game after he's already shut out 3 of his last 4 opponents, you've got to be bullish on your chances.
He does tend to get better as we get into May, for whatever reason. As we get in the middle, I mean, let's not forget the Oilers only gave up 7 goals in the final 4 games of the Stanley Cup final. That's a 2-1 game. They didn't have enough offense against Florida. Florida can do that in Game 7. They win the Stanley Cup 2-1. Tonight, the Oilers showed their offense, the counter-strike ability. Make no mistake, Edmonton got some breaks and bounces along the way, Jack. But when you win 6-1, you've won 6-1. That's all there is to it.
It's a valid point. And
not to state the obvious, but it's the obvious.
Well, and for the Dallas Stars, I mean, they've got to look at a situation now where they've played 16 playoff games. They've gotten the first goal only 3 times. They have 23 5-on-5 goals in 16 games. That's basically a goal and a half a game. And in 7 road playoff games, they've scored a grand total of 10 goals. I mean, when you look at all those numbers, you'd have to say, geez, Dallas is kind of fortunate to still have a shot at this thing. And, unless pucks start going in for them, I don't know how they push their way back into this series, because I thought they gave it, as you pointed out, their best shot today. Yeah. This is as good a 5-on-5 game as I've seen Dallas play all playoffs. I thought Colorado outplayed them 5-on-5, and so did Winnipeg for the bulk of that
Peter
series.
Peter DeBoer's response would be, we didn't have Jason Robertson healthy, and we didn't have Miro Heiskanen against Colorado.
And now they don't have Roope Hintz.
We'll see. I mean, he has to have been close to playing. He took the pregame warm-up. Big loss for them. As for Edmonton, Connor Brown will get an update postgame from Chris Knobloch. The Oilers, they do have a couple extra forwards if need be. But Connor Brown's been a huge player for Edmonton. 5 goals, 8 points in the playoffs.
And a key penalty killing guy. And energy and penalty kill, and also room guy.
Yeah, there's no question. We know how beloved he is in that room. So here's the deal. You get a chance to recalibrate. This was part of the thing we talked about, Jack, Friday night, you, me, and one of the greatest players in the history of the game. Just, can you build momentum off a 3-0 shutout victory on the quick turnaround? That's what happened today. The Oilers had offensive flow and juices going, and they finished. And the end result, up 2-1. But who was up 2-1 last year in the series?
The Dallas Stars.
And the Oilers
lost the last 3.
So
Jake Ottinger, his first loss after a loss, first consecutive defeats, of course, in the Stanley Cup playoffs for him. He drops to 9-7. And in giving up 6 goals on 24 shots, I mean, you look at what he's done thus far in the series, and quite frankly, it's nowhere close to good enough. He's got 64 saves on 76 shots. Even I can tell you, that's an .842. Stuart Skinner, meanwhile, closes it out with 35 saves. And he's right around 92, as he was last year, head-to-head against the Dallas Stars. If that continues, Edmonton will win this series. But, as Bob mentioned, we're barely halfway through, maybe not even halfway through this best-of-7 Western Conference final.